I'm Dennis Rillo Howell, so I'm based in the UK. I live in East London, but I'm originally from the Philippines. I moved here about 7 years ago.
Okay, all right, cool. But
Yeah.
what made you want to get started in like in mental health?
Oh, so basically my background is in psychology. When I went to uni, I did psychology. When I came here in 2013, I did my master's degree here. So um, I did a research project about expressive writing. So basically, expressive writing is that the idea that when you express yourself in writing, either say for example, keeping a journal or just expressing your thoughts in writing platforms such as blog, it benefits you psychologically. So when I finished my research project, I kind of gained interest about mental health blogs. You probably heard about blogs like Psychology Today and Psych Central and
Oh
Very
yeah.
Well Mind. Yeah, those were actually my inspiration. So I want to create a platform similar to those websites. So that's how I started with Psych Grudge. Now, unlike most mental health bloggers, I don't have a mental health diagnosis. So what I do is I invite people to share their mental health stories on SiteGrid, and I also publish some research articles from academics and researchers. So basically, my mental health website is a mishmash. I try to incorporate as many elements as possible, like real life mental health stories and latest research and events about mental health and allied fields.
Oh, okay, all right, cool. And yeah, that I've always said that about the journal. Like I figured it out. Like what happened, what made me go into mental health is, as I was kind of mentioned earlier, that just I had a lot of shyness growing up, and I had got bullied a lot as a kid, and I had got bullied to a lot of point where
Hmm.
like I really didn't say anything. I had such bad anxiety, like I couldn't even speak. Like I'd go to lunch and I'd sit by myself. I was like so scared just to say anything. So it kind of
Hmm.
like it affected me all my grade school years, and then when I got to high school, like once I became like 16, I got into a very deep depression, and
Hmm.
diagnosed me with chronic depression, and I what you call it. Yeah, it was like a lot of problems. There was a lot of stuff coming down on me, and then it was probably
Hmm.
one of the worst times of my life. But luckily, by the time I hit by the time I hit my early 20s, 21, 22, I kind of
Hmm.
unfortunately I had like a big mental breakdown, and like things were really bad. But I
Hmm.
figured out, I kind of reset my mind and tried to think about, how to move
Hmm.
forward and how to do better. And then I learned a lot of stuff. I would look up stuff about mental health and stuff like that, and trying to do better. I just want to, help people out so they kind of, have something, to help
Yeah,
them out, so
yeah,
they understand, where we're coming from. So I want to, kind of shine more light in this kind of stuff, so people can understand.
yeah,
Because it's so strange to me sometimes, because you can describe anxiety and depression, and people, God, some people don't understand it. There's even some people who say, "Oh, that's not real" and stuff. Like it's crazy. I just want to spread the message so they understand, what we're kind of going through and everything.
yeah. And good thing you mentioned about like how actually trying to connect with other people helps you um, cope with anxiety and depression. Because actually, that's one of the reasons why I try to put up Psych because I try to help people have a platform to share their mental health stories. Um, well, a lot of people who share their mental health stories, they do that because they know that if they share their mental health stories, people who read their stories about anxiety and about depression, they'll realize that they're not actually on their own. There are other people who are
Yeah,
experiencing it.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. And it's also about, creating conversations because I think that's as a platform that's what blogging is all about. It's a platform where you can actually create conversations, And I'm a firm believer that the more we talk about mental health, the more we will so address the stigma that surrounds it. So, the next time you talk about anxiety, the next time you talk about depression, it's not going to sound like, it's the first time that person heard about it, because
Yeah.
if everyone's talking about it, they will be more familiar about it. Yeah.
Definitely. And yeah, and I feel like the same thing that when more people, hear that someone else is going through it, it helps them out. I mean, for me to initiate any conversation, if I know, I'm always kind of nervous with the anxiety, but if I know someone knows what I'm experiencing, or even if they like the same hobby or something, like they like video games or something, it kind of gives me like this
Yeah.
comfort zone where I'm like, okay, so I can talk to them about that, and then that can lead to open to more conversations, and to really get to know the person. So
Mm-hmm.
I definitely feel for that. I mean, I think we're, like you said, the more people that know, the better. Well, it's only doing better.
Mm-hmm.
But so about Psych, when did you like? When exactly did you get started making it? Like, what made you really want to go after making the site?
Yeah, so I started it in 2013. When it started, it was just a registry. So that's how I came up with the name. So basically, it was a psychology
Oh, okay.
registry. It was more of a directory of people who are interested in psychology, mental health, and well-being. It's no longer a directory right now, but I still keep its origin. So basically, I still have the profile of the people who I used to have on the website. But it gave me the idea that I should also expand the website, so that I publish articles. Um, I'm now a full-time blogger, so that's the only thing I do now. I run Psych, and I also organize mental health events. In fact, at the end of the month, I'll be in Malaysia. I'll be organizing and I'll be hosting the second international conference on psychology education. So it's a collaborative event between myself and University Malaysia Sabah. And also last year, I've also organized an event. It's called Mental Health Bloggers Conference. So basically, I invite mental health bloggers, just to for a day of networking, for a day of sharing stories and practices about blogging.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't really have a definite plan of what I would like Psych to be, but I think I just want to have a platform where mental health and well-being and allied fields can be talked more than they are being talked about at the moment. So yeah,
Okay.
that's how
Awesome.
it started.
Okay. You also the answer two questions because that's what I was about to ask. Like, where's the end goal? But you basically just said it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Cool. Yeah, that's cool. What do you feel about? I mean, this is kind of going to the same topic, but what do you feel about different streamers here on Twitch? Trying to put in the mental health along with their gaming or whatever else they're trying to do.
Mhm.
You think that's a good thing, or what do you think about that?
Oh yeah, I think it's a good thing because it doesn't really matter what your interest is. Like you yourself, you're interested about gaming.
Yeah.
I haven't been into gaming. I don't play any games, but
Okay, I got you.
interestingly, my husband is into gaming. He's 10 years older than me, but he still plays before we go to bed. I've never seen the I think I've never seen the fun part of it. But I think it really doesn't matter as long as you can find a platform where you could connect with people with similar interests. That's fine because ultimately that's what internet is all about. Like we're creating connections and
Exactly.
um, yeah, exactly. Whether it's Twitter, whether it's Twitch, yeah, or YouTube.
That, like we're saying, that shows mental health because, like you're saying you're not really into gaming, and I'm completely into gaming, and we're here now, so
Yeah.
so it does definitely help out. But let's see about what you got. But I've been this has been in my mind a lot when it comes to mental health. But like I've been thinking about this a lot. But like myself, like how exactly to say this, but like my impression of myself, and like I'm trying to like portray like I wonder how people look at me. Do you ever think about this, or like what is your view of yourself?
Oh, that's a really good question. I've never really, I've never really thought about how people see me because I am an introvert, so basically I prefer my own company. I don't really have much friends, so um I don't really think about like what other people think about me, but because I'm a goal oriented person, so I just focus on
Oh
what I
yeah.
would like to do more. So but I think it's helpful for us to shape how we behave and how we interact with people if we take into account like how do other people perceive us. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do take them into account, but I don't really pay much attention to it. Yeah.
I was about to say the same thing. We come from the same line because really, when I was younger, I didn't really pay attention to it. But now, since I've been streaming and stuff, and then I make connections with people, and try to network with people, and talk to other people, I've been thinking about it a lot more lately. So
Mm,
I was just wondering, like I said, where would you stand on it? Because like I said, like you're saying, I've never really. I'm kind of the same way. I'm kind of goal oriented in a way.
yeah.
Like,
Mm,
I'm kind of goal oriented, but then I'm kind of not because I'm kind of like I kind of like go with the flow because like I
yeah.
used I used to be just goal oriented, but didn't worry about so much stuff when I was younger, and then like I it would just create so many negative feelings. I'd be worried about everything, and stuff
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah.
So lately I've been thinking about that, like kind of like you know your self impression of yourself, but also kind of like a self worth kind of thing.
Hmm.
Which got it. Since you're all into mental health, what kind of do you ever have anything like? Do you have any sort of mental health problems yourself, like depression, anxiety, or anything like that? Or
I think I'm fortunate enough that I don't carry any mental health diagnosis. Yeah, I've never suffered from anxiety or depression, but I know a lot of people who suffered from mental health issues. In fact, when I was on my teens, I know someone who committed suicide. One of our neighbors committed suicide. So even though I don't have a lived-in experience of mental health, I know how much it impacts other people's lives. Yeah, just like what you said earlier, what some people they do not really understand how much how much mental health can impact one's life. Yeah.
oh, okay, so that's interesting to me because yeah, most people that I've seen that
Hmm.
try to be mental health mental health advocates, so to speak,
Yeah.
have suffered from something or something.
Mhm.
Have
Yeah.
suffered with some kind of mental health illness or whatever may have you. So it's kind of interesting that you're doing that. So
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's not the first time that I have heard about it because people usually expect that when you're running a mental health website, you have some form of mental health diagnosis yourself. Yeah, but yeah, I don't have there's an advantage to that, but there's also a disadvantage on that because one of the disadvantage I think is that people can accuse you of glamorizing mental health so that you could earn traffic or so that you could earn sponsorship because yeah, I'll be honest, I'm a blogger, so I want traffic on my ads, I want sponsorship, but it's not all about that. It's also about an advocacy which is close to my heart. And mental health is close to my heart, even though I don't have a diagnosis. But I realize how important it is to talk about mental health.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. I definitely feel that because yeah, some people are crazy like that. Because we were talking about off the stream and stuff about me having muscular dystrophy and stuff. And not too long ago, we had someone come in in the stream I was playing and said, "You don't look like you got muscular dystrophy." Like I'm trying to like take advantage of it. So I can definitely feel where you're
Yeah.
coming from with that. I mean, I think anything that's kind of like that, there's gonna be people like that. But
Mhm.
oh, I was about to ask you a real good question. Now, let me see if I can have it in my phone. Let me see if I can remember. Um, Dang, what was I about to say? Oh, that's it. For someone who's trying to, start with either mental health blogging or being some sort of mental health advocate, what would you say? Like, where's the best place to start? Should they know certain information, or what do you think?
Oh, if you're struggling with any mental health issues, obviously, the first point of contact would be a mental health professional, a counselor, or any mental health advocate. And if you think that you would benefit from medication, then by all means, seek medical advice. And from a blogging standpoint, I would also say that you have to connect with other people who might be experiencing the same thing as you, because there's a power in storytelling. There's a power in learning from other people's narratives, and that's what I'm trying to achieve with my platform. You know, that you can learn about other people's experience, and you could also learn about the latest research about mental health. Obviously, if you think that you've got a story to share about mental health and you have a perspective that you want other people to hear about, then by all means start your own blog. And my own advice is if you want to start your own blog, be sure that you're really committed about it. Because sometimes we get so excited, like
Oh yeah.
I will have my own blog, and then after a month, you kind of lost commitment about it. So yeah, just be sure you've got the time and you've got the dedication to start your own blog if you wanna go down that route.
Okay, I was about to say that's like me when I tried playing guitar. I played for a little while, and then I said,
Yeah.
this isn't for me." Okay, but yeah, that's awesome. Because what you call it, and like you're saying about storytelling stuff, that's one of the things that drives me to start when I started streaming stuff. First, before I ever started streaming, like I said, I was very shy and stuff. I was kind of looking for a way to, kind of go after my interest, but kind of also come out of my shell. And I started doing YouTube for a while, but after that, what you call it, I worked in a job, and I basically had to demo off different gadgets and stuff, and I started meeting people and stuff, and like just the storytelling aspect. Like I would meet people that talk about their lives, and like I finally had like a interaction with people that I really enjoyed and stuff, and like I didn't feel like I was like so stressed out because of the anxiety, and
Mhm.
I was like, oh man, I was like maybe I said maybe I should try, live streaming, doing that because the thing about YouTube is it's great. You kind of get these people talking to you through the comments, but when you live stream, you know, at any moment people can come in and talk to you. They can bring up
Mhm.
topics that you're like, oh yeah, I need to talk about that, or whatever it may be, maybe gaming or whatever, or what kind of events are going on in the world, you know. But I've always been interested in the fact of storytelling, so that's what really pushes me forward to hear people's stories. I love telling a good story. I definitely love hearing one. It's something else. I don't know. It's always piqued my interest. So that's why I'm always kind of interested in blogging as well because of that kind of thing. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you wanna if you wanna start your own blog, yeah, I'll happy to share some tips. Or there's a rather more how do I say, there's an alternative to blogging, like guest posting. Like if you want to publish an article about your mental health experience or well-being experience, I'll happy to publish it on Psych. And also for the listeners, yeah, I publish all sorts of mental health stories on Psych. So if you're interested in that, do get in touch.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. I kind of been always interested in it, and that's why I kind of like do this. This is kind of like filling that void for me, the way how I do
Yeah,
this on Twitch.
yeah.
I have a viewer right now watching. Good friend of mine, Fansuki. He wanted me to ask you, what can a normal person do to help a friend that has a mental health issue that already tried professional help?
I think
That's a tough
it's
one.
important. Yeah, I think it's important that you also part of the support network. Like you may not have a lived experience of mental health, but just be there with them. Because sometimes um, more than medication or more than psychotherapy, we just need someone to talk to. And I think
Oh yeah.
there's it's really powerful that whatever you're going through, there's someone to listen to your troubles, and what's really bothering you, yeah, it's important to have someone to talk to.
Definitely, I definitely agree with that. Yeah, when I was younger, I had a lot of stuff going on. I tried to
Hmm.
reach out to a couple people, but luckily I always had my family, but just I never had like that much,
Hmm.
peers to do that too. So I definitely know where you're coming from, and that's why my channel, like I said, trying to talk about mental health and show it out to the world. But the main thing that we try to do on my channel is just support, because like that's one of the main things. Because I myself, I'm not, I'm not. An expert in mental health. I can't tell you what's
Hmm.
going on. I'm not a therapist or anything. But the best thing to do, if someone's having a bad day or comes in here, yeah,
Hmm.
there's a few viewers who, if they ever have a bad day, they just come in here and we just talk about, and it helps make them feel better. Support is
Yeah.
like the main thing, it's because sometimes with mental health, loneliness really hurts and affects you a lot. I mean, that what happened with me, depression, because like at the point of when I had a lot of depression, I didn't really have any friends. I had maybe like
Hmm.
one friend that had my brother, and so I was very upset, very lonely. But to have that support, it just really helps a lot. It's
Hmm.
indescribable.
Yeah, because good thing you mentioned that, because actually mental health issues is has a strong link with loneliness. Like when you feel that you're on your own, that triggers a lot of mental health problems such as anxiety and depression. So it's important that you try to cultivate a support network, whether it's online or face to face. Yeah, it's really important. And yeah. I do admire you for what you're doing. You're trying to create
Thank you.
a support network for people who has interests such as yours in gaming.
Oh yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah, that's kind of like the main thing we try to do. To help anybody
Mm.
out, because like I said, I've been there. That's kind of like the main thing that drives me, because I've been at my lowest low and stuff. I know how I get sometimes, so I definitely want to be out there. Trying to help as much people as I can.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's why I like this, because it kind of gives you more of a voice. It's the same, with blogging. Like you're talking about mental health blogging, but to be out there more, to have a platform to put your voice out on, and tell how you feel, or give your
Yeah.
experiences to someone else.
Mhm.
But here's a question, and this is kind of a deep one, but are you happy where you're at right now?
Yeah, I'm really happy because it's really different from the kind of life that I would imagine. I don't want to sound melodramatic or cheesy,
No, no,
but
you're good.
um, yeah, I grew up in a slum in the Philippines, so where I am right now, this would have been different. Like statistically, um, it's quite difficult for me to get to university. So for me to get a master's degree and to work from home, um, it's quite different from what I would have imagined my life would be when I was 10 years old. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the people who helped me along the way. Yeah, I'm grateful for my family. So I'm quite content with where I am at right now.
Yeah, I understand that. I feel
Hmm.
exactly. Yeah, that's crazy. I know. I feel the exact same way. I didn't think I'd be here. I didn't think I'd be anywhere. I'm very happy at where I'm at now too, because it's like, I'm happy where I'm doing it. And then, right now I have a smaller channel, but I kind of like that. It's like, a journey. Kind of sound a little corny, but it's like it's a journey right now, and who knows where we're in. So I've always wanted, like as a kid, I was played so many video games, watched so many cartoons and stuff like that. I've always said, I want to, be on some big quest or some big journey. And this is kind of like it right now. So, and I'm happy, and I meet a lot of awesome people and get to do what I love. So I'm pretty happy where I'm
Or
at
maybe
right now
you could
too.
create your own games. Maybe you could
Oh
create
yeah.
your own
Oh,
games. Yeah.
I thought about it. Believe me, I have a whole idea for a game, but maybe sometime in the future, that could happen. Let's see. See if I had any other big questions. I wrote down a bunch of questions to
That's fine.
be able to answer it. Hmm. Oh, about Psych and mental health blogging and stuff. With articles and stuff, do you kind of, when you go through the articles, is there like a certain thing you're looking for within the articles? Is there any kind of like, how do I say it? Kind of like a proofreading, kind of like to check them out. You know what I mean? To see if it's what you really are looking for your site.
Yeah, I publish all sorts of stuff on Grudge. We're not really Grudge is really different from other websites where they do have a review system. I think it's good that you have a review system, but Grudge is quite flexible when it comes to review systems. So basically, as long as it's not um inflammatory or it doesn't attack a particular group or particular race, then I'm happy to publish on SiteGrid. And also,
Okay.
as long as you don't make any claims that you cannot really support with scientific findings, then I'm happy to publish on SiteGrid. Yeah, like what I've told you, we publish all sorts of articles, starting with mental health stories, personal stories, and also research articles. Yeah, so if you and your listeners would love to contribute on SiteGrid, then yeah, just get in touch, go to SiteGrid, and then you can find my contact details. So just go to my website, you can find my email.
Okay.
Yeah, usually I publish around 700 word articles, and then uh, I'm happy to include any links that you would like to include in your article, as long as it's not um, advertising any product or service.
Okay, yeah. I was just curious about that. I was just thinking about that. Okay, Fansuki, he has another question. He says, "Does mental health feel more widespread now, or more prominent from the younger age? I mean, from the younger generation, like in the past?"
Yeah, I would say so. Just so you know, I was born in the 80s, so I was growing up. There was no internet, so I could really say that it has come a long way. We openly talk about mental health and mental health issues right now. Just last night, I was watching the news, and the royal family is actually involved in mental health. They've got projects about mental health, which is really good.
Oh, yeah.
But on another side, there's also a tendency for us to glamorize mental health issues. And there's a fancy term that I've heard about last week. It was on the news. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called sad fishing. So basically, you
No.
try to put yourself in a situation where you look desperate or you look frustrated, so that you become popular in social media. And a lot of celebrities have been known to do this sad fishing, like I'm so frustrated, and so on. So I think that's one of the bad side of
Oh,
what's
yeah,
happening
I agree.
now. Because we're so open, we can talk about everything, more so about mental health. But I think what's important is that we still have to understand that talking about mental health should not be about glamorizing mental health, because if we're doing that, we run the risk of not really offering support to people who are genuinely suffering with mental health. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's also important for us to realize that you just don't just loosely use clinical terms like depression if you don't actually have a clinical diagnosis of depression.
Oh,
So
yeah, I agree.
yeah, because in effect, what happens is that it diminishes the seriousness of depression. Yeah.
I definitely agree. Yeah, I got a few things to talk about after everything you said, but yes, that for sure, because people don't. A lot of people don't understand that there's being depressed and there's having depression, and
Yeah.
there's a difference in between that. And also, like you talk about, I knew what you were talking about, but I haven't had the term yet for sad fishing. But I know exactly what you're
Yeah.
talking about, and unfortunately, the day and age of social media, everything is kind of like, put out there, glamorized. I mean,
Yeah.
not even just mental health. I mean, I've seen people thought it was funny to bully someone, and so they posted it. thinking they were gonna get likes and stuff, but they didn't. I mean, everyone was pretty upset with them, but and stuff like that. But I feel that because it's like if you go out there, you're just trying to like you're saying, it's kind of like making a mockery of people who do have mental health. To me,
Exactly,
if you're
exactly.
using mental health just to gain clicks and stuff, I mean, it's crazy. I feel like people will go to any links to get any clicks on Twitter nowadays. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I feel the same way about the widespread. I feel like it's more widespread now than it used to be in the past. I mean, I was born in '92, so I was born a little later. But you know, even I mean, a lot of things have changed even since I've been a kid. Because like I remember back in the day when you were little kids and you talk about video games. And man, he's like, "Oh, look at this guy's a nerd. He's talking about video games." Now everybody talks about it. I mean, look, I mean, we got a whole thing going on with video games. But also, what you call it? Another thing I would like to bring up is like with mental health. It's kind of strange. That us as men, it's like a lot of times they want us to hide everything. You know what I mean? Keep everything ball inside. You're not supposed to show emotion and stuff. I mean, what are your thoughts about that?
Or are you talking about like like men not being able to express themselves?
Yeah, like the stigma of
Yeah.
men, yeah, not being able to show
Yeah.
express, emotions and stuff, or cry or be upset because you're supposed to
Yeah.
be tough, you're supposed to be a man. So I was just seeing what
Yeah.
your thoughts of that.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that because I work for a radio station in London. It's called Men's Radio Station. It's a radio station which just started February of this year, and the
Cool.
idea behind that radio station is they want to give a space to men to talk about mental health issues and well-being issues. And yeah, especially I think it doesn't matter where you live because there's still a stigma, a stereotype that men should be tough. And I think we're coming into terms now that men are also given an opportunity to express themselves and they will not be judged. There's still a lot of things that we have to work on, but I think we're heading on the right direction.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially now that if you go on YouTube, you could find TED speakers, male TED speakers who openly talk about mental health issues. In the UK, there are also a number of football players who openly talk about mental health issues. Yeah, so it's important that we actually starting to see them in the media and yeah, in social media. Yeah, but there's still a lot of things that we have to work on.
Yeah, 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 for sure, for sure. Yeah, because I live. It's kind of some places not as bad, but I live like down south in Louisiana. It's kind of really bad because a lot of these people are old fashioned, so they don't want you they don't want you to show expression and stuff. So I always like to ask and talk to people about that because you know sometimes people say it's not the men aren't supposed to show it, but it should be okay for us to come out. If we have to say stuff about our feelings or what we're dealing with, because because people it's been like this for forever, but it's like it's causing such a problem. I feel because it's like it's not good to hold stuff inside. It's not good to have stuff, because I when I was younger I used to do that all the time. I used to hold stuff inside and then
Mhm.
I would break down or I would, explode into rage or whatever after eventually dealing with so much stuff. So
Mhm.
that's why I kind of like want to spread that message that it's okay, to say how you feel and everything, and not be
Mhm.
you're not gonna be have criticism towards you, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, like we were saying earlier, I mean, I feel like we've come a long way in learning a lot of different stuff about mental health, from the old times and stuff like that, and just the medical field in general. We've
Mhm.
learned a lot more about different stuff, so now we can help more, and stuff like that. Let's see. Speaking. Oh, okay. Okay, there you go. Another question. I was about to look for a question. Perfect. Speaking of, okay, Fancy says, speaking of that, is there a way to know a person that is hiding their mental issues or persuade them to talk about it? Oh man, that's a tough question.
Yeah, that's a tough question.
Uh,
I'll just have a disclaimer. I'm not really a qualified mental health professional, so I'm just speaking from the standpoint of a mental health blogger. So I think that the best way to find out if someone is struggling with mental health issues is that if you notice any unusual um, things, unusual behavior from them, that let's say this person usually is enthusiastic or talkative about what's going on with their life, and then all of a sudden they become so silent. I think that's a telltale sign that something is wrong. And also usually people also seek help, like that they say something is not right, so they talk to people. Yeah, that there will always be cry for help. People, I'm a believer that people don't just break down all of a sudden or commit suicide all of a sudden. Usually there are signs, that there are indicators. And if you're a family member, if you're a friend, you should, pay particular attention to those, because, we don't want to be sorry at the end.
okay, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I feel the same way. But also as well, I know that there's some people that sometimes have problems, but their pride and stuff gets too much of them, and they want to let people know, what's going on.
Mm.
Like I used to know someone who has tons of problems, and I would try to help her and stuff, but she would never let anybody in. So I mean, hope I haven't seen her in forever, but so hopefully she's doing better.
I
Uh,
hope so too.
yeah, okay. What's that? Man, I was about to say something. Man, um, I don't know. I'm thinking about a question, but maybe it might be something. I don't know. It's kind of a touchy subject. I don't know if I should say anything though. Um, I'm thinking. Let me see. Let me see if I got some different questions. Um, oh, this is a question. This is a question I've been thinking about a long time with the mental health. Um, do you see or do you like know of any? Have you seen this a lot where people want to get into the mental health field and like be mental health advocates, but they go about it the wrong way? Maybe they're giving wrong information. Maybe they're like we were saying there earlier. People think that they're using it to just gain popularity and stuff like that. Do you see that a lot? Since you're so much into mental blogging and stuff, and then that kind of scene.
Mhm. Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that. I have to be honest, I'm quite suspicious of celebrities, and
Yeah.
I'm also suspicious of companies. I'll mention a company. You've probably heard about Gillette, their
Oh
advert
yeah.
about toxic masculinity. I'm quite suspicious of that because, yeah, you're trying to give your brand an image that you're all about um, mental health and all this relevant stuff, but uh, it just doesn't really resonate with your target market. So I think you have to consider your marketing strategy. And with celebrities, yeah, I already mentioned about sad fishing.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's just I just find it weird that like you talk about mental health, and then you try to make it look like that you're struggling with mental health. Um, I was just thinking, like, with your status and with your resources, with your money, you could actually talk to a mental health professional. So why do you have to put it on social media? Um, I, again, I'm just suspicious. I'm not saying it's wrong, but
Yeah, I
I think that
understand.
there are other ways for you to seek help if you want to. So you don't have to put it in social media. um, I don't know if you're just trying to raise awareness, of you're just trying to get even more popular through social media. Yeah, but when it comes to like people who are on the same industry as me, like mental health blogger or mental health advocate, I haven't personally come across of people who I would say doing it the wrong way, or doing it for the wrong intentions. I think that's I think that's a better word. Doing mental
Yeah.
health issues for the wrong intentions.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
haven't come across that.
Yeah, I was about to say about companies and stuff. I feel the same way because there'll be certain days to celebrate certain stuff, and I feel like companies are like, oh yeah, we celebrate that. Like it'll be like suicide prevention or something, and they'll say, oh yeah, we
Yeah,
support this, and they'll make a tweet or whatever, and then the next day you never hear again until that. It's like once a day, you know what I mean? Different holidays
yeah.
and stuff like that. So I understand what you're saying, and
Yeah,
like,
it reminds me of the Pride plug. I don't know if you have that in America, but in last June, if you go to Twitter, if you go to Facebook, it seems that all brands have changed their logos into the Pride color,
yeah,
the
yeah,
rainbow
yeah. I
flag.
was thinking of that too. And then as soon as it's over, they just take everything away. It's just all gone, like it never
Yeah,
happened.
like
It's so
we're
strange.
thinking. Yeah, we're thinking. Are you really into it, or you're just joining the bandwagon, or you're just trying to, avoid any accusation from people that, oh, they're not supporting LGBT, or they're not supporting about mental health, so they have to change the logo. Yeah, I would rather have I would rather be more loyal with a brand who's actually sticking to their core values instead of just joining the bandwagon just to be popular.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, that. But with mental health, myself when I talk about mental health, I'm always kind of like nervous. Like I try to make sure to look up everything, and that's why I mostly do support. Like I'm always afraid, like make sure I don't say anything wrong. Like if I,
Mm,
because I mean, people take a lot of advice with this kind of stuff to heart, so that's why I try not to, really give like straightforward advice. The only real advice, like we were saying at the beginning, is like I always tell everybody, keep a journal. I mean,
mhm,
and just the other
mhm,
best thing to do is look for the good things you've done in life and like what pushed you forward, like your strengths, because that's what always helped me when I was depressed and stuff. It was like I've got this going for me, this, I should be able to, that kind of gives me, kind of the push forward, and go ahead, keep fighting and
mhm,
stuff like that.
mhm.
Not sure if this has been asked. Oh yeah, Fancy says not sure if this has been asked. So what's the best way to spread mental issue awareness? I don't know. That's a tough
Well,
question.
yeah. Well, since I am a blogger, I would say blogging would be an effective platform.
Oh yeah.
Well, fundamentally because I think a lot of people who are struggling with mental health issues, they're not comfortable with expressing themselves in person. They might find blogging as more non-threatening because you just write for yourself, and if you don't want other people to read it, you can keep it private. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's also good if you take part in charity activities, like fundraising or mental health events. I'm quite sure in the area where you live, there would probably be some people like organizing small mental health talk events. So it's good to take part in those because that certainly helps in raising awareness about mental health issues. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Like I think blog is a really really good thing.
Mm.
And I think another good way is having people. I think the more it's going to do better, the more someone is known and the more popularity they have. To come out and say it as well. But what you're saying about about blogging, I mean, I feel the same way when I'm talking through the internet. You know, it's easier to talk about whatever you want. You don't feel as threatened, like you're saying, face to face. You know, sometimes, man, I get extremely nervous. Sometimes I still get nervous just ordering my food when I go to fast food place. So I definitely understand that. I feel for that. I mean that's how a lot of my relationships and friends that I've met, have been through the internet and stuff. So I definitely feel that. But trying Let me see. Let me see if I got any more questions. Thank you,
Yeah,
Fancy, for coming up with more questions for us
yeah.
because, oh man,
But I think we pretty much covered everything. But
yeah,
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 if you don't have any more questions, I'm happy to just wrap it up and
yeah,
just
yeah,
yeah. But it's really great to have an opportunity to talk about mental health, especially someone with you with you have a different interest, but we tend to we realize that even though you've got different interests, there's an overlapping of interest. Like um,
yeah.
I'm not interested in gaming, but you're interested in mental health. And it's good that we find, an opportunity for us to talk about a common ground.
Yeah, yeah, it's like a bridge that can connect people. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
if I have something like I said, yeah, that's
Mm.
another thing. Like I feel like too many people these days, like they got one track mind. They're not open. Like I used to be when I was growing up. I used to like if there's a certain type of music or whatever it may be, a certain type of style or something. If I didn't like it, I said, "Oh, no, that's horrible." Whatever, you know what I mean? But now since I've grown up, I've opened my mind. I've opened my mind to so many different things that I was like, man, I was an idiot. I mean, I'm missing out on so much different stuff. So like so if people are more open minded, we can have a lot more discussions and stuff like that as well. But yeah, I mean, I really appreciate you coming out on the podcast. I mean, it really means a lot, and I think we you know did a lot of good and covered a lot of good topics and good questions for sure. But yeah, I mean, if that's it, I mean, I guess
Yeah.
I'll see you later.
Yeah, and then I also would like to take this opportunity to invite you and your listeners to head over to Psych
Yeah,
and
definitely.
just go over some mental health stories, and you yourself could also share your mental health stories. Yeah, it's a pleasure talking to you and also to your